So it's November 2021 and I've just come out of the garden, so we're expecting rain today. So there's a big avocado tree in the background there, and if I just scan through you'll see the bananas. Okay, and then I'll do a little bit of a walk up through the garden. So there's a little feijoa hedge there. That's really just the boundary of the ornamental to, I suppose, the food production part of the garden. There seems to be a heck of a lot of flowers on all the feijoa trees this year, and that includes all the people that I've spoken to they actually said their feijoa trees are absolutely laden with flowers, so certainly going to be a bumper crop for feijoas. So walking up through the garden now, there's tomatoes. I just went through the other day and took off a lot of green growth, took out the laterals and just tied them up. And so there's a lot of tomatoes in the garden at the moment. So walking through the garden, there's some peas, and just in the background up there is a citrus, and there's another citrus hiding behind those peas. And there's onions in here, and there's the great wall of rhubarb. So I'll walk through here. So yeah, there's just a few lettuces there, some more tomatoes, some perpetual spinach, and I've just cleared out that bed behind it and composted it. So we've got some cabbages or cauliflowers in here, more tomatoes. I'll just wander through here. So all the cabbages are looking amazing, so they're all hearted up, so there's a decent chunk of cabbage in there. So walking through, we've just left these broccolis in, and I just tend to eat the leaves. So these are kumara I've just popped in, so there you can see little pots there. I've just buried them in the ground. We had the pots, and it's just an easy way of me keeping control of what soil's in there, loosening it right up, and then also the kumaras can go down and hit a hard base and I can find them really, really easily. Okay, so there's the fig tree. Go to another avocado tree, the passion fruit, and then we go to the Arabica coffee bean tree, and then we've got some bananas there, and just in front of those is a whole bed or two beds of strawberries. Okay, so I'm going to walk out of the garden now up onto the next tier, and if I just show you up there as I look up, there's a Misiluki bananas, a huge big bunch. So I'll just walk up these set of stairs that are here. Okay, up to the next level, and if I just walk straight ahead here, you'll see there are some peppers and capsicums. They are actually last year's, we just left them in and they seem to look like they're going to have another go, so that's okay. We've got some peas, some beans, more tomatoes, and there's some berries, which are just climbing up the little walkway there, and we've got a little safety rail. And then down there's another bed, and as you can see there's a bit of sheeting just to keep the weeds down, and if we want to plant something in there we can. So okay, so I'm just walking out next up to the next part of the garden, and it's a little bit of a nursery in there with some plants and pots, some more tomatoes. And if I walk up here you can see, looking that way towards there's a whole walkway that goes that way, and if I turn around I've got the walkway that goes back that way. So walking along and up these steps, you can see just in front of me is the avocado tree. So that's had flowers on and bees pollinating this year, which is great. So I've just put a whole lot of compost around that, and we've got our little walkway out with a little arbour going here, which has got a huge big passion fruit growing over it. And then down here we have a fig tree. And if I walk past the fig tree, this here was a bed, we just use it for compost now. So under the sheet is just all the compost breaking down, and underneath this sheet here, which a whole lot of compost I got from the compost, and it was a huge big pile, and as I say, I'll put some around every tree because we're going to get some rain. So I try to do it when it's not sunny, because a lot of the bugs that are in the compost don't like direct sunlight. So I put it under here in the shade of the tree when it was a super hot day, and covered it with the blue bit of carpet, and today's been very overcast and we're going to get rain, so I've made that my job to spread around all the trees. Okay, so I've just walked out of where the compost was, and if I just turn myself around, we've got a citrus tree here. It's an orange tree, and this is one of the tiers. There's bananas, which you would have seen possibly last video. Walking through the citrus, we've got 2 limes and 2 lemons. Oh, that was me tripping. And I've got a lot of lemons on there, which is great. It's nice just to be able to come out and grab a lemon. Plum tree here. So that's got a lot of fruit on it, which is great. Another lemon tree. Here we have a lot of the raspberry canes. So they're growing gangbusters and just starting to get flowers on. And here's another feijoa tree, which as you can see possibly from last video to this one, how much it's grown and also the amount of flowers that it's got on it. So this is Mammoth or Apollo, so it gives really big feijoas, which is great. So I'll sneak past that. And we've got more, just on the other side of that, we've got more raspberries. And we've got the cherry tree. So the cherry tree has got a lot of cherries on it this year. So we'll just try and cover it. We'll just let it go a little bit longer. And then when they start to turn red, well, the first one, we'll have to cover it, otherwise the birds will just clean it all out. So down there's another fig tree. One of the hardiest things, fig trees. Put one in, it'll be there in 100 years. Okay, so I'll walk down and I'll just go back down to the same level where I gave you a long shot of. And it's back along the walkway, which I walk the opposite way. So if I walk a little bit here, you'll see again, there's all the berries. So they go right through there. This walkway makes it a lot safer to walk along, and it just gives us a good level footing to move along. So coming to another plum tree. Again, that's full of plums. Spin round here, there's the border of the feijoas. And just on the other side, opposite the berries, we have Tamarillo trees. There's one there, another Tamarillo tree there, and we've got some cuttings. They're just from bits of wood snipped off and shoved in. They're starting to actually leaf up. Peach tree, an apple tree, and if I just scan down without walking down there, that's where I started. There's another apple tree there, another peach, and if I walk down a little way here, we've got the bananas, and these here is another big bunch of Missy Luki. So this was the mother of all of the whole bananas planted on the property. So it's kind of getting too big here. We may actually move it. That may be the last time that we let this one fruit here. Just to my right of that, we've got the asparagus beds. So there's seaweed I've popped on top, and I've just put a bit of compost. I've just picked my lunch, which I ate before, so it was beautiful. They had about 6 or 7 spears. So these are really thin ones, so I've just left them. But yeah, they're popping up every day, and certainly after this rain, we should have a good go as well. So here's another peach tree. Got a bit of leaf curl, so we're going to have to put a bit of copper spray on that. It's got some peaches, or it's actually a nectarine tree, sorry. And down here, we've got another apple tree, another citrus tree. If you can see that, this was really, really prolific, and it's got lots of fruit on it now, absolutely laden. So again, underneath it, we've pulled away the weed mat so it can get water, and I've thrown a whole lot of compost around it as well. So in there we can go down into the garden that way if we want to, and you can see that just out at the bottom of the stairs there's a huge agave. Alright, so I'll spin around and walk my way back out of the garden, and I'll show you the next tier. Okay, back up I go, back up the steps, really good. Okay, so we've got some more capsicums planted against this wall. We've got some grapes, so just table eating grapes. So this year we've made sure we've sprayed with copper early, and also we've been snipping out all the growth so that it's not putting a lot of effort into growing. And we'll cover that again later on once the birds start to go. So here's the big retaining wall, and so we've just espaliered this trees are espaliered along the back of it, and we've got some cucumbers, some more capsicums, berries, and I've just popped a few lettuces in around these trees, seeing I had a bit of compost and I'd cleared everything away. And we go up to another plum tree. So here's my 230 litre drum. Inside it is actually another drum, and in there is actually fish meal. So I tend to put just a teaspoon around my little plants when I do it, and it's just kept in there. It keeps beautifully dry, and it has got a little smell but not much, and it just kept it away from the house. And just back here we've got some more capsicums, another apple tree, a zucchini, and a big peach tree. And I'll walk back up those stairs up onto the driveway. Okay, so I've just walked back onto the driveway, and these are where we've got the passion fruit growing over the drive. There's one, there's two, and then there is three. And here along here is just the retaining wall, which had nothing in it, which we put succulents. So as you can see, it's got a lot of flowers on it, which the bees are absolutely loving. So it's really nice. Speak of the devil, here is a bee having a good old time in the flowers. So there's plenty of options for all the bees, and there's another little different type of bee arrived there as well. And so there's plenty of them for them to eat here. And it's right along the way. Okay, just to the other side of the driveway is the top side of the grape. This is a purpley grape, which again is a table grape. Same scenario, we're just snapping everything off so that it's just putting its growth into the fruit, and it's just being mindful of coming through and snapping them all off as you go. Okay, so that's the end of that driveway, and I'll just walk up to the next level, which is upstairs. And here we've got loganberries. So they go quite a darkish colour, probably a little bit like that, and that'll come off really easy. It's just not quite right, but I'm going to eat it. So walking along, another peach tree, another citrus, some of the original trees off the property, Tangelo trees, absolutely great. There's a compost bin that we can spin. This here is where the the passion fruit start from growing, so they're just tied with a waratah, and then they go over a tee. Another citrus tree. We planted these citrus to replace these other trees. They had like a lot of borer through them, but once we'd sprayed, the trees actually seem to have survived, and it's really still producing quite a lot. So another citrus.